Forgive me, sir, but this is breaking as we speak, so I want to go through some of these details again whilst you're watching to make sure I've got this right. 4 tax brackets, 12, 25, 35, 39.6%. That's what we've got. Maximum tax rate for small business, pass-through, guys, 25%. A new family tax credit. I'm not sure how that works, but it's a new family tax credit. Double the standard deduction. Property taxes, which you pay locally, are deductible against your federal income tax. But, and here's a big deal, state and local income taxes are not deductible. That's a sticking point for a lot of people, sir.
It is, but you know what? We have gone to that $10,000 property tax cap, as well as keeping charitable deduction and a mortgage deduction. And so we've tried to cover all of our bases here for what's really important. That child tax credit you mentioned is expanded, it's enhanced. Not only if you have a child, it goes to $1,600, but you'll also get $300 for the parents, each parent, as well as $600 for a dependent child, say someone who's in college, for instance. So we're giving more aid to folks that really do have the opportunity to spend on higher education or taking care of a disabled student or maybe a senior staying at home with their parents. They'll get that credit as well.
Now, if you get all of this, and all of this is in the package, what do you think the rate of growth will be next year? I mean, do you think we can get to 4%?
Well, we have to get above 3%. I think confidently this will get above 3%. And I think the psychology of the American entrepreneur is just going to be so interested and excited about the opportunity with certainty for permanency in the code. They're going to invest more. So we have the opportunity to get back to those Reagan years for really getting our economy booming again.
I'm looking, you can see me moving around here trying to see what the market's doing. The market is pretty much dead flat. I don't think the news that we're breaking now has gotten out there at this point. I don't know which way the market goes when the news does get out there more prominently. But I want to ask you about timing. As we've discussed, Congressman, it looks like it's going to be hard for Republicans to vote against this, so I'm assuming it's going to go through. What's the timetable here?
Well, timetable is next week in the Ways and Means Committee. We will have a 4.5 or 5 day markup of the bill. We'll take it and go day by day during daylight hours. This is going to be every day next week. It's probably going to be on the House floor the week after that. The Senate may be off a week on their time schedule, but we could have this passed by Thanksgiving. I think that's the target, so that it's finalized and conference committeed out before Christmas holidays.
Okay, one more for you, if I may. We're going to double the standard deduction. I think it's $12,000 now, goes to $24,000. Straighten me out, Congressman. Am I right in saying that you can therefore earn up to $24,000 in a year? You will pay no federal income tax on that first $24,000, correct?
That's correct. Your first $24,000 would be tax-free, and that's where it's aimed to lower and middle-income folks right off the bat.
Okay. Do you spare a thought for the 1%?
You know, the reality is that we kept the top bracket, and the president was confident in keeping that bracket as well, and it's going to be at $1 million level for a couple.
Oh, it's a million. Okay,
that's $1 million level.
That's very important. So
$1 million level for a couple.
So up to $1 million a year for a couple. Up to $1 million, you'll pay 35% on most of it. Over $1 million, you go to 39.6%. So the top 1%, which currently pays 39.6 on $400,000, they get a break on the next $600,000, which is not going to be taxed at 39.6. Have I got that right?
Yeah, well, actually, for an individual, I think it goes from $470 to $500 for an individual on that bracket, and then it goes to $1 million for a couple. And of course, anyone making that much money is also going to get a break at their first 12% or their first 25%. They'll have a little bit of a reduction on those rates. Okay.
You know, it's not quite what we were promised a year ago. We were looking forward to everybody gets a tax cut. Everybody gets a big tax cut, a massive tax cut, the greatest tax cut we've ever seen. It's not quite that, is it?
Well, I think this is moving in the direction of giving essentially nearly everyone a tax cut. There's always going to be extenuating circumstances, but the reality is that this is aimed at middle-income America. It's making sure we're boosting paychecks. People aren't going to be living paycheck to paycheck. It's really important for our economy and our country. This is going to be a historic day, November 2nd this year.
Hold on a second,
so it keeps the earned income tax credit, but we understand it would eliminate the AMT?
Yes.
That is correct. It also eliminates the AMT, which has hit a lot of middle-income taxpayers.
Has. Yes.
It really has.
Have you been authorized to confirm all of this for us, Congressman? Because you're spilling the beans.
Well, I am authorized. I'm on the committee. We were up late till almost midnight last night, and it's all being released, again, within the next hour. So it's coming straight to you now.
So what you're telling us is what the Republican Party is learning about 100 yards away from you where you are now, correct?
That's correct. Right.
Okay. If I were to characterize it like this, would you agree? It's a huge break for the middle class.
Yes.
It's a big break for business. It's not much good for 1%.
That's probably a fair characterization. And even those people in that 1%, look, if they're investing in a passive income business or a small business, they're going to see some maybe tax reductions, but they're also going to be investing in more equipment for their company, more people, hiring more people, and giving raises to their employees.
Okay. What about the Obamacare taxes?
Yeah.
They're still in there on upper income earners. Can you do anything about that?
That is correct. We did not do anything with those taxes. That's going to be dealt with separately, and hopefully that will be in the near future, but we didn't want to confuse the two and just wanted to move forward and making sure that our years of work in this tax reform space was completed and was done.
I've said that if you remove the deduction for state and local taxes, there are going to be screams from the high tax states, New York, New Jersey, California in particular, and I would expect a mass exodus of wealthy people from those states going down to Florida and Texas.
Yeah.
What do you say, sir?
Well, I think that even keeping the $10,000 cap for property taxes, we were listening to what the concerns were from a lot of members in those states. Minnesota's a little bit like that, too. And so we were attentive to that, and were able to even keep permanency in the code on the individual rates and the business rates, and at the same time address some of those real concerns that some people have with high property taxes, for instance.
Sir, you're an unusual politician in that you are a Republican from Minnesota. There's not many Republicans in Minnesota. How do you think this... I'm laughing here, but how do you think your tax plan is going to go down with the good people of Minnesota?
Well, look, Minnesota's a purple state in reality. But look, people have been hungry for tax reform. This is a big issue that I have worked hard on for years. It resonates with the public. Minnesota wants to grow just like every other state. We want to keep headquarters. We want to keep manufacturing. We want to keep innovation. This is a big part of tax reform that's going to make sure that that happens for our employees in my home state.
Forgive me, Congressman, if I just go through the details one more time. Please listen, make sure I got this right. 4 tax brackets, 12, 25, 35, 39.6. Property taxes paid locally are deductible up to $10,000.
Yeah.
Top tax rate for small business, the pass-through people, 25%. The estate tax, death tax, repealed after 6 years, but the exemption is doubled up to that point. I think I've got a new family tax credit and a doubling of the standard deduction. Thanks for being with us, Congressman. You're straight. Here you broke news for us. You didn't move the market, but you helped us out a lot, sir.
This is an exciting day.
It is indeed. Great stuff. Congressman Erik, thank you very much indeed, sir.